Welcome back to Dinner at the Big House. I'm Michael. Today we're going to be making a Cubano from scratch, everything but the Swiss cheese. So in my last video, I made homemade ham, and we're going to be utilizing that as well in this video. And we're going to be doing a little bit of a twist because instead of finishing the pork roast in the oven, we're going to be doing it on the smoker, kind of like we do pulled pork, but we're going to do a mojo marinade. We're making Cuban bread from scratch, and we'll be doing pickles. I have my homemade mustard. It's going to be delicious. So please sit back and enjoy it. If you have any questions, please reach out in the comments. I would love to hear what you're talking about. So I have lived in Miami. I lived there for a couple years back in the early 90s, and I did enjoy Cuban food, especially mojito. I did pork and chicken, they were my two favorites. So we're gonna make a from scratch now. Where I am, we cannot get sour oranges, so we're gonna be using a combination of sweet citrus and sour citrus. So I'm gonna start off with, this is the juice of 2 large grapefruits, 4 sweet oranges, 4 limes, 3 lemons. To that, we're going to add 1 yellow onion, about half a bunch of fresh oregano, about half a bunch of fresh cilantro, 2 teaspoons of cumin, and 8 cloves of garlic. Let's get this mixed up and then we'll get it on our Boston butt. Okay, I have here a 9-pound Boston butt. It's my preferred pork cut. It's easy to get. I'm going to just go ahead and score this. It has kind of a weird fat cap. Most of the fat's down here, but once we cook this for 8 or 10 hours, it's gonna... Okay, I didn't put any salt or pepper in my marinade. I'm just going to give this a good healthy dose, getting all the sides. Same with my pepper. Now this marinade is going to stay on this for 24 hours. A little bit less. I'll put it on in the smoker in the morning and get it good and cooked. Okay, so we have our pan that we're going to marinate in. I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of this on the bottom. I'm going to put my pork in, and I'm going to cover it liberally. And then anything that I have left, I will save to do chicken or something like that with it. Perfect. Okay. So we got this all covered now. I may flip this tonight before I go to bed just to give it a chance to get all sides. I'm going to cover this in foil, and then we'll get it in the fridge overnight and get it on the smoker tomorrow. And the last thing that we need to do to get ready for this cook is going to be our pre-ferment biga sponge, whatever you want to call it, which is going to be 125 grams of bread flour, 125 grams of just room temperature tap water, and about 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. Now once this is sat, and I'll cover this and put it in the refrigerator. 24 to 48 hours. It's just like a sourdough starter for all practical purposes. You can continue to feed this if you so chose. But we're going to just kind of make a paste out of this, and then it'll sit in the fridge for, in this case, about 48 hours. And then I will add it to my other flour, my other components for the Cuban bread. So it makes really, really great, great bread. It's very common. So we're going to get this covered up. We'll get it in the fridge, and then you'll see it again in a couple days whenever we make our bread. Well, it's first thing Monday morning. I've got my fire started, and we're going to put our pork butt on. Now, I know that yesterday when I filmed this, I had it in a half pan, and I just didn't like it. It wasn't big enough. So I went and I found my It's actually an ice bucket, but it's great for brining like a turkey or something larger like that. It worked much better. So let's get this out. I'm gonna try to get some of the bigger chunks off of it. Man, it looks good, smells great. That cilantro and the lime, you can see it kind of, the acid kind of started cooking it. We're gonna get this on. I'll get my probe in and on the bone. We'll get this on, and it's probably going to take 8 hours, I guess. 8 to 10 would be my guess. We're going to take it to about 200, maybe just a bit under, since we're going to hold it overnight. So let's go get this on. Okay, we're gonna let this go. I'm running post oak and hickory today. I like that dirty smoke at the beginning. Get some smoke on it and get it ready to go. Okay, I'm excited about this one, guys. Stick with me. We'll make it through and see what we come up with. Okay, now I'm gonna make my pickles. I did a video a few weeks ago on this pickle recipe, so I'm not gonna cover it in any great shape or form. I will put a link up above for that video if you wanna see how to do a quick 10-minute pickle, or pickled jalapenos for that matter. I use this recipe all the time, highly recommend. Vinegar, water, sugar, salt, black peppercorns, crushed red pepper, minced garlic, and dill. Get this on the stove, get it till it boils, then we'll let it cool after a while. We'll do our pickles. Okay, our solution is cooled. I got all of my pickles, all my cucumbers cut. Now I'm doing this in a long slice because it'll go on the sandwich better. Normally I just do them across there, and then we're just going to make sure everything is covered really good. Then I take a plate and put over this. Then I will put this in the refrigerator overnight. They're better overnight. And then when we build our sandwich tomorrow, we will have a homemade pickle. So the only thing that we're going to be buying for this sandwich is the components, the different ingredients, and of course, the Swiss cheese. Okay, we are 9.5 hours and it's ready to come off. And I have to tell you, this thing looks incredible. So I'm gonna wrap this in foil and we're gonna hold it overnight. It's been windy out here today, so I'm trying to, you can see this is very much done. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna put it in the warming cabinet overnight, and then tomorrow we'll pull it. I'm gonna make some more mojo sauce to pour over the top of it. And we'll make our sandwiches after we make our bread. I think it's going to be delicious. Ooh. Do you see that bad, Larry? Okay, in we go. Today is the big day. We get to finish this up. So in the previous video, we made our biga, or our pre-ferment, that sponge that's been in the fridge for 2 days. You can see that it kind of bubbled up, which is what we wanted. Now I've had this out on the counter to get to a this kind of room temperature. So I've got all my ingredients laid out. So let's put this together, get it kneaded up, and get it proofing for the first hour, hour and a half. Got the pork off last night, which we saw, and I'll get that pulled, and I'm really excited about it. So let's go. So we've already started with our pre-ferment. We're going to add in the rest of our flour. I'm going to add in some raw sugar, turbinado, our yeast, and our dough conditioner. Now, the rest of my water. And we're going to give this a good mix. And for the fat for this, we're going to add lard. I made this recipe last week, and I was blown away by the texture and the taste of it. Definitely something that I'm going to be making over a much longer period of time. Now we're going to go in with our lard. Switch to my hands. Let's get this out on our counter here, our bench. And you can for sure do this in a stand mixer if you so chose. I just like to knead by hand. I don't know why. Just think that it's, I get a better feel for the dough. Say it like that. Now, authentic Cuban bread, they use a palm frond on top of it when they bake it to give it that split top. Well, needless to say, I cannot get a palm frond here. So I am going to use baker's twine. I'm going to wet it really good, lay it over the top. Makes a really nice looking crust. Now you can see the dough is starting to come together now. We went kind of through its shaggy stage, and it's still going to potentially do that. And you'll feel the dough change as you knead it. It'll go from, you can see now, it's getting there. I have enjoyed learning how to bake way more than I thought that I would. Okay, I think we're getting there. Okay, I'm going to go back into our bowl here. I'm going to cover it with some oil. And then I'm going to fold this a couple times before I let it go for the proof, the first proof. So that's pretty much it. It's a very simple dough, but when it comes out of the oven, you will know that you cooked bread in your house. I promise. Okay, we'll put this in a nice warm spot. Well, take two. I forgot to put in my salt, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in now and get this all kneaded in. Oh, best laid plans. Okay, one more time. So you can see that our dough has doubled in size. It's looking really, really good. Really, I mean, it's the texture of it is going to be, it's very unique. Let's just say it like that. So I'm going to put some flour down here. We're going to roll it out, and we're going to, okay, we're going to roll this out, and then we're going to divide this into twos. Now I have to warn you, it's very possible that you're going to hear some noise in the background, as today is what we commonly call in our home Cinco de Mama. It's because it's my wife's birthday, so we have family visiting for that, some grandkids. So it's wild. I filming yesterday. Everything happened at once, so I had to try to get. I'm gonna try it this way. I was trying to finish up my video while I was starting dinner because we had everybody over. I'm gonna put a little flour on this to kind of get some of that tackiness off. Now let's try to get this equal size. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to get my seams on the bottom here kind of sealed up. And we're going to elongate this because it's going to rise some more, and it will rise in the oven as well. So we're going to go down on it like that. Pinch off the ends here. Now, if your dough kind of fights back, and you can see this is real springy, what we can do is we could just leave it on the counter. Leave it on the counter for 10-15 minutes, let it relax a bit, because rolling it out it kind of starts tightening up that gluten again. But I think I can make this work. And I want to try to get them as equal amounts as possible, which this side's a little bit bigger. And like I said, we're going to let this rise again. So I have a pan with parchment and some semolina flour on it. I'm going to transfer this over. And this is where I'm going to try to get my final shape of my bread. I did not do a good job of getting them equal size. Okay, I'm going to cover these up with a towel, and I'm going to let them sit for about another 30 minutes, kind of relax. I can do some final positioning on them once that happens. Then I'm going to put my string over the top. I'm going to brush them with water, and we'll get them in the oven. Okay, while we're waiting on our bread to go through its final proof, this is our mojo pork that I took off the smoker last night. Left it in the warmer. We have a warming cabinet in the garage that I left overnight for 145 just to kind of let it relax. So let's get this shredded up, and then we'll taste it for seasoning. I may have to add a little bit more salt and pepper. We'll see. I also made another small batch of the mojo sauce as something as a condiment to put on the sandwich. So let's get this pulled and see how we did. Tender is not going to be a problem with this. And again, much like pulled pork, which I just did a video on that if you want to see how I do my pulled pork with jalapenos in it. We're going to get this all shredded up, and we want everything, all the crispy bites. Now, you do this in the oven, there's going to be a lot of the fluid because typically you're going to cook that with your marinade. It's kind of a trade-off on this, and that's why I didn't put oil in my marinade, because I didn't want that in the smoking process. I did it in my marinade or my condiment sauce instead. So that's where I'm going to get that. Now this is going to be a real unctuous, I guess would be the word, because of the fat content of the pork. But what we're going to do with that citrus, it's going to be a little bit of acid that will really help us. Definitely need some salt. It's a big cut of meat, and the only salt that we really had was what we put on the meat itself. There wasn't any in the marinade. And then I'm going to add some black pepper, just because I like it. Okay. So we're we're going to cover this up. We'll keep it warm. And when we come back, we'll get our bread cooked up, and then we can try a Sammy. And I'm going to tell my wife to make me a Sammy. A sandwich, if you watch King of the Hill. Okay. We're getting there. So we've gone through our final proof. They're ready to go in the oven. I have everything preheated. So this is what I'm going to use instead of a palm frond. So this is just butcher's twine. I've soaked it in water, and I'm just going to lay it on top here. Let the ends just dangle there. And what this is going to do is it's going to create the crack in the top of our bread. Then I'm going to brush this with water because I want this to get really crispy. And I have a water pan in the oven, which is set at 400. This is going to take between 25 and 30 minutes, but I will go until I get my internal temperature between 190 and 200. And I tell you, if you don't have a kitchen thermometer, an instant read, you need to get one because it takes all the guesswork out of cooking. Okay, let's get this in the oven, and we'll go from there. Our bread is out of the oven, and you can see that the string trick worked really well. I'm going to get this taken off. What we'll do now is we're going to let this cool a bit before we cut into it and make our sandwich. Just going to test my temperature here to make sure. 197, perfect. See what we look like on the bottom. Like it a lot. Okay, we'll let this rest here on the cabinet for a bit. I may take it off the pan to get that heat from underneath it. And then we'll get all of our components together and see what we can make. Our bread turned out great. We're going to get this sliced up. We're going to build our sandwiches. I don't have a sandwich press, which is what we need for this Cuban sandwich, so I'm going to use an improvised press for that. I do believe that we may have some special guests that get to try this whenever it's done. I'm still working on that, but we'll see. I'm going to try this. That'll work. Look at that. I am proud of that. Now we're going to slice this. Okay. So as we build our sandwich, I'm going to keep two things in mind here. One, because my granddaughters are going to be trying this, I'm not going to use the spicy mustard. So I'm going to do two different sandwiches. This mustard I did not make, but we're going to get both sides. And then I also have a daughter that does not like spicy. I don't know where she came from. So that's our non-spicy. This is the spicy mustard that I make, and the link I'll have up above here. You'll be able to watch that video if you want to make it yourself. It's my favorite. Boy, I did not pick a good one. We'll do our spicy there. We'll do cheese on both sides. We're going in with our homemade ham. and I will have the link for that video as well. We have our mojito pork. And this is the marinade that I made today. And finally, our homemade pickles. Let's get these toasted up. So I have 2 smoking hot pans. Smoking hot like my wife. Sorry, that's a Talladega Nights. This is a mixture of lard and butter. And I have another smoking hot pan. And I have another smoking hot pan that we're just going to press now. I had to pivot to the stovetop to get it completely the way I wanted. So here we have our homemade Cuban. Well, we have some special guests in the kitchen today. We have my 2 daughters and 2 of my granddaughters that are here for Cinco de Mama. Like I said earlier, it's my wife's birthday. So we're going to try this. They're going to tell me what they think of this completely homemade Cubano. Go ahead, ladies.
Wow, that's so good. That's really good.
Yum.
What do you think, Pierre?
Yum.
What do you like about it?
Yummy.
The mustard is amazing. Yeah, there's good acidity from the pickles and from the mojo sauce. The bread is so good. Yeah, I like that.
Would you order this in a restaurant?
Yes, for sure. And I usually don't like pickles on a sandwich, but I think they're a must. Yeah.
Well, that's it, folks. You got it from the official taste testers. Thank you so much for joining us here at Dinner at the Big House. Please like, share, subscribe. If you keep showing up, I'll keep cooking. Thank you.
It's the mustard in here.
Yep.